So everybody online seems to talk about Cambodia like it's either a magical hidden paradise or complete chaos. And honestly, they're both kinda right, because living here is a weird combination of wow, life is so simple and beautiful, followed immediately by why are the karaoke speakers blasting at 5 AM on a random Tuesday morning. So in this video I'm going to talk about some of the real truths of living in Cambodia, from the good, the bad, the sweaty and the slightly confusing. So let's start with the first truth. Number 1, Cambodia will destroy your sense of time. You'll arrive thinking, I'll just stay for 2 weeks. And then next thing you know, it's been 14 months, you own 3 pairs of elephant pants, and you're arguing with a tuk-tuk driver for the fastest route to your favourite coffee shop. Because Cambodia has this weird ability to make people accidentally live there. Nothing feels urgent, nobody seems stressed, and somehow your biggest daily challenge becomes, should I work today or just get another mango smoothie? And Cambodia also completely destroys your ability to understand weekends, because every day feels kind of the same. Even a random Tuesday afternoon somehow has the energy of a lazy Sunday. Meanwhile, your friends back home are stuck in traffic, replying to emails, while you're sitting in a cafe wondering if it's too early for noodles. And the really scary part, after a while, you stop wanting to rush. You stop obsessing over productivity every second. You stop checking the clock constantly. And you stop caring what day it is. Which sounds peaceful, I know, but that's until you realise you haven't worn proper shoes in 6 months. I mean, in all honesty, I can't remember when I actually wore anything other than my sliders, so really I may as well throw all my other shoes away at this point. Number 2, the tuk-tuk drivers, they know more about your life than your own family. I mean, the same driver will pick you up more than once and suddenly he becomes not just your transport, he'll also be your local guide, your therapist, your weather reporter, and somehow your business consultant. You'll hop in and hear, today you look tired, boss. Which is both comforting and deeply offensive. At first it's professional, where you go, simple, normal. But after a few months living in Cambodia, the relationship evolves. Now they know where you live, what gym you go to, your favourite coffee shop, what time you usually wake up, and probably your entire weekly routine. You'll get in the tuk-tuk and they'll say, no gym today? Like, wow, didn't realise I was being monitored by Cambodian fitness police. Which has happened to me before, but it was a rest day, alright? And I'm convinced Cambodian tuk-tuk drivers operate on a higher spiritual frequency. Some of them appear before you even book the ride. You simply just need to think, I need a tuk-tuk. And one materialises beside you, out of the heat haze. And after enough time in Cambodia, your favourite tuk-tuk driver becomes part of your daily life. You trust him more than your bank, you ask him for restaurant recommendations, you ask him about the traffic, you ask him where to buy literally anything. And at some point you realise, this man has become your unofficial life manager. And number 3, you start measuring everything in US dollars. Because Cambodia changes your brain. You stop thinking, oh, maybe I shouldn't get that, and start saying things like, it's only 75 cents. And maybe this one is a bit more true because I'm British and I'm not used to using dollars every day, but I could easily catch myself spending $18 on Western brunch without even blinking. And eventually you become the final form of expat. Someone emotionally affected by the price of an iced coffee increasing by 25 cents. Because living in Cambodia turns everybody into a part-time economist. You start doing strange mental calculations all day, saying things like, oh, that's 4 coffees, that's half a haircut, and that's basically 2 gym sessions. And at some point you stop understanding prices back home completely. And Cambodia's dual currency system somehow makes things even more confusing. Half your wallet is in US dollars, the other half is in Cambodian riel, and every transaction feels like a maths exam you didn't study for. The cashier will hand you $1 bill, 2,000 riel, a slightly damaged note from 2007, and somehow a receipt folded into origami. And you just nod like you understand what's happening, because that's what we all do. The most dangerous part is when Cambodia makes you feel rich and broke at the same time. Because you can afford dinners out, massages, cafes, or even weekend trips. But somehow still look at the apartment electricity bill like, you use the air conditioning this aggressively, when in reality, you live on your own and only have yourself to blame. Number 4, the weather is basically a hot yoga class. Because Cambodia doesn't have weather, it has temperatures. I mean, you'll walk outside at 9 AM and immediately become soup. Your shirt sticks to you, your phone overheats, and everybody not in the shade looks exhausted. And locals will still say, today, not too hot. Meanwhile, you're sweating through parts of your body you didn't know could sweat. At some point, you stop checking the weather app completely, because every forecast just says hot, or still hot, thunderstorm maybe, or hot again. But it's the humidity is what really gets you. You don't dry off in Cambodia, you just become slightly less wet. You take a shower, and then need another shower as soon as you've dried off nearly. And then there's always that one confident tourist walking around at midday saying, I love the heat. But give him 3 days, he'll be hiding inside a cafe with 4 fans pointed directly at his face, like the rest of us. And your standards will change. Because back home, 25 degrees felt warm. In Cambodia, 25 degrees feels like an absolute miracle sent by the gods. You'll wake up to a cool morning, step outside, and think, I hope it stays like this all day. But just you wait until the sun gets a bit higher. Trust me, I still have that same thought every morning, and it doesn't take long until I'm reminded of just how hot it really gets. And somehow, despite all of this, you start liking it. You'll even start judging other countries for having bad sunshine. And just to warn you, when you eventually visit somewhere cold again, your body will react like it's entered the Ice Age again. Number 5, crossing the street becomes a spiritual experience. And there are technically traffic rules, but also not really. At first, Cambodian roads look completely insane. Motorbikes everywhere, cars appearing from nowhere, tuk-tuks moving like they're in a video game. But eventually you learn the secret. Just walk slowly and confidently. Not fast, not scared. You just have to cross the road with the energy of a man who's accepted his fate. Because the second you panic, it's over. The motorbike drivers will sense your weakness. So be careful and be smart, because one day you will adapt. You realise you just crossed a chaotic intersection while checking your phone and carrying an iced coffee. With no fear, no hesitation, just pure Cambodian enlightenment. And at that moment, you're no longer just a tourist. You are part of the traffic now. Number 6, your diet turns into absolute chaos. Because you'll probably move to Cambodia with the intentions of eating healthy. 3 weeks later, your diet consists of iced coffee, fried rice, grilled meat on sticks, fruit shakes, random snacks from the mini-mart, and beer for dinner. But somehow, you're happier than ever. And Cambodian street food has this dangerous effect where you stop asking questions. At first you're cautious, saying things like, is this safe? What meat is this? And how long has that been there? But 6 months later, you're standing beside a roadside grill, saying, yeah, give me 5 or whatever that is. The weirdest part is your standards change completely. Back home you'd spend 45 minutes reading restaurant reviews. In Cambodia, if there's plastic chairs and locals eating there, that's Michelin star in your mind now. And somehow the best meals of your life will come from places that look like they also repair motorbikes. Plus the portions make absolutely no sense. You order a small fried rice and receive enough food to feed a family of 6. And I'll say this, Cambodian food is ridiculously underrated. And finally, number 7, you'll keep saying things like, just one more month. And this is exactly how Cambodia gets people. I mean, nobody initially plans to stay forever, but the lifestyle is relaxed, the cost of living feels very manageable, the sunsets are so good that they look fake, and life just feels somehow simpler. So people keep extending. 1 more month, 1 more visa, 1 more apartment, and 1 more year. And before you know it, you're explaining to your confused friends back home why you never came home and now live in Southeast Asia. And Cambodia has this strange effect where your temporary life slowly becomes your real life. The funniest part is actually meeting other expats. Every single one says the exact same thing. I didn't mean to stay this long. Meanwhile, they've been living there since 2018 and have a favourite laundry shop. Because Cambodia itself makes leaving weirdly difficult. Not because everything is perfect, it isn't. The roads are chaotic, the heat is aggressive, power cuts happen, and sometimes the Wi-Fi collapses exactly when you need it most. But daily life feels strangely easy. You can afford little luxuries, the people are friendly, there's always somewhere to eat, and somehow even bad days feel less stressful than normal life back home. Then the day will come when someone asks you, so when you're leaving Cambodia? And you realise you genuinely don't know anymore, which is exactly what happens, and then you start looking for long-term apartments, and saying things like, I might actually live here, and before you know it, you actually do. So what's the truths about living in Cambodia? It's chaotic, it's hot, it's noisy, the traffic makes no sense, the sidewalks randomly disappear, and there's always at least one karaoke speaker somewhere nearby, fighting for its life at maximum volume. But it's also fun, affordable, unpredictable, and weirdly addictive. Cambodia has this energy that's hard to explain until you live there. 1 minute you're frustrated because the power cut out during a heatwave, and the next minute you're sitting on a tiny plastic chair eating incredible street food while watching the sunset, and thinking to yourself, honestly, life is pretty good. That's the thing people don't understand about Cambodia. It's not polished, it's not perfect, and that's exactly why so many people fall in love with it. Life feels more random, more social, more alive. You end up talking to strangers more, laughing more, spending more time outside, and somehow stressing less about pointless things. Because Cambodia may not be perfect, but that's kind of why people end up loving it, at least in my opinion anyway. So if you ever visit Cambodia and think, maybe I'll stay a little longer, just be careful, because that's exactly how it starts, and how Cambodia really gets you. But that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next video.